I'm not sure if you know about this thing called the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. It's a $4.5 billion fund for people who have sustained vaccine injuries. And RFK Jr. is trying to open this up to families of children with autism. Take a look at this.
After a while, the CDC's own research showed that the protection from the vaccine, if any, was between months 2 and 6. And by 6 months, it showed negative efficacy. So I'm watching the hearings on my, computer screen at home. I'm yelling at the screen. The COVID shots have negative efficacy after 6 months. Tell me how a shot with negative efficacy is saving lives and it has the worst side effect profile of any vaccine in human history. So how exactly is a vaccine with the worst side effects and negative efficacy saving lives? That's a preposterous claim. What ended the COVID pandemic was the Omicron variant that was more transmissible but less lethal.
And now take a look at this story about Larry Lowe.
My name is Virginia Lowe, and I have travelled here from Oma along with my husband to share his vaccine story. Larry's condition makes it very, very painful to speak for long periods of time, so I'm his voice today. I don't actually know how long he's able to stay here. He's sitting in the front row taking multiple attacks as I speak. He's shaking, stimming with the pain to try and keep it under control. Prior to December 2021, my husband Larry was a healthy, active man with no health concerns or underlying conditions. He was a college lecturer and successful musician, but that was all taken away from him on the 15th of December 2021. That was the day he received a COVID Pfizer booster injection in Oma Leisure Centre. Within 2 days of this, he complained about unusual painful facial numbness with further pain in his teeth and his gums. This was only the start of his onset neurological journey.
I've got a guest on today who I've had on before who's going to talk about everything that you've just seen. I want to introduce to you Ellie Hirsch, a certified nutritionist and health and wellness coach, and she's going to talk all about this topic. Ellie, how are you doing this morning?
I'm great. Thank you for having me back.
So what are we talking about here? What is actually going on?
So much. So you have the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, which is VICP, and RFK Jr. is opening it up to families of children with autism, which is really nice. And let me give you a bit of background on the program. It was created in the 80s, and there was a 75-cent excise tax on doses of specific vaccines like the flu, and all of that money put together now has a $4.5 billion fund. And these are for people who've sustained vaccine injuries. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but COVID's not part of the VICP. And that's a little alarming, right? Mm-hmm. Because 4.5 billion is a large number, but not really if you include COVID. So that's under the CICP. That's the Countermeasures Injury Compensation Program. That was established in 2005 for vaccines during public health emergencies. So flu, COVID, two different things, two different programs, basically. I'm thrilled that RFK Jr. is working on a policy change because I do think that families and of children with autism, they should seek awards, absolutely. Now, there's a loophole that Kennedy's team is considering because you can't call it autism, right? It's not part of the program. So they're trying to figure out other ways to include it in the program as well. Barry, what do you think about how this even exists? I mean, does that tell you something is wrong?
Yeah, especially wrong if 4.5 billion has to go to fix it. So that tells you they're applying a fix to something that they most assuredly know is wrong.
Exactly. And that's what is the scary part. You're telling, everybody, put this in your body, right? Put this vaccine in your body, because vaccines in the past have been dangerous for young and old. But the new one, the COVID back then, it's even more dangerous, but we're not going to include it in the 4.6. So good luck with trying to get money. So that is seriously alarming. We have people who are really, really sick, really, really sick. You talked about Larry Lowe. This is a guy that is so sick. I mean, he can't even deliver his own testimony. His wife has to speak for him. And he is in so much pain. He hasn't slept in 3 years. We all say, I haven't slept in a month. This guy literally has not slept. And it's not just happening to people like Larry Lowe, right? It's not just happening to older folks. It's happening to young people too. And that's about this young woman named Trista.
I saw another video that it is indeed happening to young people, and so I want, before you get into what you know about Trista, I'd like everyone to take a listen to this video to hear the story about an 18-year-old girl.
She was just a really funny girl, and she worked really hard. She was a little spitfire. She was not really afraid of anyone or anything.
Trista was a beautiful, beautiful girl. More full of life and joy than anybody I've ever known.
That's how Taylor and Alan Martin describe their daughter Trista. She graduated from Broken Arrow High School in 2022. That summer, she was promoted to a management position at a local Brahms. She walked her dogs and worked out with her older sister. She had plans to go to college and had a heart for helping others.
After she passed, we found a bucket list that she had made when she was 16.
Yeah, adopt a teenager. Number 28. Number 29, be a foster parent. Number 27, be a mother.
That one gets me a gut punch.
Dreams that will never come true. Trista died November 9th, 2022, 12 days after her parents believed she got her second COVID vaccine. They found her vaccination card from her first appointment in her purse. It shows she received the first Pfizer shot July 20th of that year. Her parents had no idea.
So in this case, I believe 12 days after she had her vaccination, that's when she died. So the correlation and the connection between the COVID shot and her death, it's easy to see, right? But there are so many cases where months, years, today people are still realizing, oh my God, this is all because of the shot, right? Whether you got the shot or not.
Now I understand what you're saying. So in order to really grasp that it's happening to so many people and you're trying to obfuscate it and make it like it never happened, I want you to take a look at this ridiculous news story. And I'm not sure what CNN was trying to pull here. Actually, we probably do now. So take a look at this news story from CNN.
A German man has puzzled scientists after he deliberately got more than 200 COVID-19 vaccinations. 217 to be exact, over 2.5 years. That's a shot every 4 days, roughly. CNN health reporter Meg Terrell is here to explain more. Meg, this guy sort of became a voluntary science experiment.
Yeah, Boris, they call this guy a hyper-vaccinated individual, and researchers sort of found out about him through media reports as he was already more than 200 shots into this self-experiment he was doing.
So, there is no validity of the story. We don't know who this person is. There's no name. It's really just propaganda from CNN, right? This guy did 27 vaccines over 2.5 years, supposedly, and never got sick. So now it's like, oh, well, he did all these shots. He never got sick, but you had one shot and you're sick. So you're probably wrong. So it's just ridiculous. It really is.
So are you saying CNN does propaganda? I don't know how you discern news from reality when you watch stuff at CNN. It's absolutely absurd. So people should be taking that kind of stuff with a grain of salt and do their own research, which is something I know that you can provide and show people. And to that end, here's something showing just how bad the damage from the vaccinations have been.
Let's put up the next chart, number 3. This is probably my most censored chart. Dr. Scott, were you aware that worldwide on VAERS we've reported 38,742 deaths worldwide associated with the COVID vaccine? Were you aware of that carnage?
I'm not aware of that figure in particular, no.
In America, I believe the number 19,000, correct? Again,
But VAERS does not prove causality.
Oh, I've heard that time and time again. So let's take a look at the bottom figure down here. Of those 38,000 deaths, 9,252, 23.9%, it's called 24%, occurred on the day of vaccination or within 1 or 2 days. Now, I know that doesn't prove causation, but man, that's a correlation that we ought to look at.
So what's interesting here is that this is not even showing the majority of instances because only 1%, Barry, of cases are reported to VAERS, okay? Plus, it takes an average of 45 minutes for doctors to actually...
Can I stop you right there for a second, Ellie? You mentioned VAERS. Can you explain to people what VAERS is? Because you just said that less than 1% of the problems get reported to VAERS. What exactly is VAERS, and can people still report?
Anyone can really report to VAERS, okay? And it's not, it's a reporting system for events, and events being when somebody gets sick from a vaccination or a medication, it's reported there. But it doesn't mean that the medication or vaccination caused it, but it's a report on record. But because only 1% of cases are reported, these numbers, they're not correct, right? And doctors have to fill out the paperwork. So if it's going to take a doctor 45 minutes per patient, A, they don't have the time, and B, they don't want to take the time. So, it's not, the numbers aren't right. The numbers are so much larger, and it's a lot. They're reporting 38,000 deaths from COVID vaccine. In America, that's 19,000. So out of the 38,000 deaths, like the video says, 24% occurred on day 1 or day 2 of the vaccination. Wow. So imagine how many more people, right, if it's not reported. 1% is nothing. Right. So again, false numbers that are just ridiculous. Wow. Yes. So, and whether or not you took the shot, right, you are in danger because there's something called shedding, right? So the mRNA particles, if you get the shot, you are shedding particles. And the FDA has acknowledged, the risk of shedding because from gene therapy products, and COVID-19 mRNA falls under the category due to the mechanism of inducing the body to produce these things called spike proteins, which we'll get to in a little bit. But aside from shedding, everything that we're eating could have a vaccine in it. I know that sounds shocking, right? But if we look at organic livestock requirements, animals are getting these shots, which is insane, right? So basically, since organic farmers can't routinely use drugs to prevent diseases and parasites, they mostly use animal selection and management practices. Only a few drugs, such as vaccines, are allowed. So the livestock, they're getting vaccinated, even organic, okay? We're eating the livestock. So you're getting those mRNA particles in your body, and you have no idea. And you're like, I didn't take the shot. So, I'm good. You're not. Wow. And that's really scary. And it's something you have to really be educated about.
Can you explain how mRNA vaccines work, or rather how they were supposed to work? Because this technology came out and they're saying you got to take this, but what exactly do mRNA vaccines even do?
Sure. Well, they teach your cells to make harmless spike proteins so that your immune system learns to recognize and fight it. mRNA COVID vaccine works by teaching your cells to make harmless spike proteins. Are they really harmless? So the point is your immune system learns to recognize and fight it. And all a spike protein is, it's part of the virus that helps it enter your cells, basically. Now, some researchers are worried that in rare cases, these spike proteins may travel where they shouldn't. So if you're injected here, maybe they're going down here, they linger too long, and that causes inflammation. The most common issue with mRNA vaccines is myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart muscle. And laboratory studies are suggesting that spike proteins can interact with blood vessel linings and platelets, which originally led to this hypothesis, right, about links to clotting or inflammation, but it's no longer a hypothesis because there is so much evidence about the damage, and most people have no idea that the damage is done yet. We're still finding out.
It sounds so crazy. It happened to us, and nobody seemed really, and they were telling us you couldn't take this, don't take that. Nobody knew what to do other than to just simply lay down and voluntarily just take, or sometimes mandatorily take this thing that they were giving people. Now that it's over and people are having these issues, what can we do now to protect ourselves? Because it seems like it's hard to do things after they happen. You're reacting instead of being proactive. What can we do now to protect ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, it's always good to be proactive when you can, right? And the younger you are, the more proactive you can be. But now that we know and we're educated on this, the study suggests that the number one thing you can do to increase your microbial diversity in the gut is with kimchi, which is unbelievable. So, and we'll talk about what kimchi is exactly, but I want to just talk about why microbial diversity is so important for your gut.
Now,
right?
What's that term again? Micro what?
Microbial diversity, basically. And what it means is that you have many kinds of living things in your body, right? Bacteria, viruses, and they live in your gut. And so it's important because it keeps your body and the environment healthy and balanced. It supports your immunity, improves digestion, and protects against harmful microbes. But, you know, Americans, we're overusing antibiotics, right? Pharmaceuticals, vaccines, and our standard American diet, it's not good, right? I mean, the portions, the cheeseburgers. So all of that causes a lack of diversity in your gut microbiome. So the health of this microbiome, which really is just your mini ecosystem, it keeps your body balanced. And the number one factor in determining our health and fixing the problems that things like the vaccinations have caused, this is all the gut microbiome.
So can you explain kimchi for us one more time? You've been on here before. People in the Fanfare family have understood, but I still get questions all the time when we talk about Brightcore and kimchi. Can you explain what kimchi does and why it's so good for us?
Yeah, so kimchi is the number one thing that you can do for your gut flora. Okay, kimchi is a food. It's a staple in the Korean diet, right? It has over 900 unique strains of beneficial bacteria. That's why they call it the king of fermented food, right? It is a fermented food, and there is a war in our gut between the good and bad bacteria. So when you eat fermented foods, especially kimchi, picture it like sending special forces into your gut, right? The best of the best is in there. And kimchi feeds the good gut bacteria, but crowds out the bad. And it keeps your gut healthy, balanced, and health depends on balance. And we mentioned immune system just a little bit before, but did you know that 70 to 80% of our immune system lives in our gut? So the gut is really, it's like the brain, right, of everything. And I don't know if you've seen this, but somebody we all know, a very big figure in the health world, is also a huge super fan of this superfood.
Meat and then fermented vegetable, anything fermented. So a lot of kimchi and all kinds of fermented vegetables. And it's really, I would say it's dramatically changed my, everything.
I mean, listen, I'm about to turn 50, okay? And, I hope that I'm this healthy when I am RFK Jr.'s age. We should all aspire to age healthily, right? And the fact that he eats kimchi, I mean, he's just saying that. Nobody told him, nobody prompted him, and that is really huge, right? Kimchi is unbelievable. There's so many benefits. And when it's introduced to human cells, like there was a study where cells of all ages, right, were in test tubes and via in vitro, kimchi was introduced, and it actually slowed the aging of the cells. That's why he looks so good. He's so muscular. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. I hope I look that good at 71, right? And, you know, if you are young, you got to do what you can now, right? Like we talked about before, to be proactive. But, you know, we're living in a world that's literally trying to kill us, right? You got poison in our air, in our food, the medications, and there's no avoiding it, okay? So you have to be proactive. And nothing that's in our control determines our health more than what we put into our bodies. And that's why we created Kimchi One. And there are so many health benefits, and you're not going to eat tons and tons of kimchi in a day, right? It's not an American staple, it's a Korean staple.
Right.
And that's why they live 6 years longer, by the way. And, you know, Korean glass skin. I mean, your health on the inside should be reflected on the outside. And you can just tell there's something about people, you know, that eat kimchi, that take kimchi, and it is just health, right? And so we created a convenient capsule for daily use without the bad taste, without the odor, because Americans are not used to kimchi. I happen to love it, but you know, you're not going to eat tons and tons. So we have made a capsule. It's low in sodium, unlike store-bought. So if you're going to go to the supermarket and say, I'll just eat a ton of kimchi, well, you're going to have a sodium problem. So ours is low in sodium, 100% made in the USA. It's all natural, non-GMO. So we're really, really proud of this product.
So what have your clients and your customers experienced when taking Kimchi One, and why take Kimchi One versus just eating kimchi?
So if you're out there and you're having problems with digestion and bloating, this is going to help you with that. And I will tell you personally, ever since I've been taking Kimchi One, my bloating is gone. It is unbelievable. And that's within like 1 to 2 weeks of taking it. Anyone who's having problems with immune systems and they're getting sick all the time, you need Kimchi One. Achieving younger looking skin, right? We talked about the Korean glass skin and thicker hair. It's Kimchi One. And also, if you have that extra weight that you just cannot lose, this will help with that. But what comment we love the best is that all these symptoms that people are getting from the COVID shot, right? Like whether it's your mood or you can't sleep or you have headaches, heart palpitations, seizures, I mean, the list goes on. And they just couldn't identify the cause of these symptoms, right? Other than, oh, I got the vaccine. Well, since they've taken Kimchi One, the results they've reported back have been nothing short of remarkable. They're gone. So that is, to me, pretty incredible.
Here's a big question. We've had Kim on from Brightcore before, and you're talking about kimchi. I know many people in the Fanfare family are swearing by it right now. So do you have a special offer that you can give to the Fanfare family today?
Oh, I absolutely do. Today, they can get 25% off with code Barry at mybrightcore.com/Barry. But I will suggest that they call, and I'll tell you why. So when you call in, you actually get up to 50% off and free shipping. That number is 888-418-6738. And a discount is great, but the real reason we want you to call in is we have health experts on the other line. We're not just a company, we have real humans behind us. We want to make sure the product is for you. We want to hear about your symptoms, what's going on with you, and we want to take the health journey with you. Like I said, people are always calling us and reporting back, oh my God, I had this, now it's gone, I've been struggling for years. So it's pretty crazy. And also the first 100 callers get a free bottle of vitamin D3 with K2. Again, that number is 888-418-6738.
Well, you remember, you said you're 50, you're a young-looking 50. You remember the commercial back in the day when they used to have a hair club for men? And then the guy would say in the commercial, I'm not just a spokesperson, I'm actually a customer. And he would show people he had the toupee. Well, I want to say that right now. People want, is this just a commercial or is it just a sponsor? No, we are actually clients. My wife and I, and let me tell you, Ellie, what happened when my wife was listening to me talk to Kim. and I've said this to people before, she said something during the interview that gave her even more credibility. She was telling the viewers the best way to shop is to shop on the outside ring of the store. Don't go up the processed aisles and you'll find yourself healthier. And it caught my wife's eye, and she's like, I'm going to do that. And then she trusted it enough to say, now I'm going to start taking kimchi. And it worked, and she goes, now you're going to start taking kimchi. And then she's moved on from kimchi to some of the other products, the Revive. She actually loves it. So, I thank you and I thank Kim. And I just wanted to say that because I want people to know it's not an infomercial. This is actual real life. We're actually doing this stuff. And I encourage everybody to take advantage of the offer. And if you have questions, call the people at Brightcore. Let them educate you. Just don't buy something. Listen to what they have to say. It really, really does work. Ellie, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day and sharing all your information. And I'm sure people will be getting a hold of you guys.
Yeah, we can't wait. So we look forward to your calls. That number again is 888-418-6738. Thank you so much, Barry.
All right. Thank you very much.